It's time for the physical and spiritual manifestation of the book of Revelation. The Euphrates River is still drying up. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings and leaders of the east might be prepared. The Euphrates is still drying up, strangled by the water policies of Iraq's neighbors, Turkey and Syria. A drought and years of misuse by Iraq and its farmers. The river is significantly smaller than it was just a few years ago. Some officials worry that it could soon be half of what it is now. The shrinking of the Euphrates, a river so crucial to the birth of civilization that the book of Revelation prophesied is drying up as a sign of the end times, has decimated farms along its banks, has left fishermen impoverished, and has depleted riverside towns as farmers flee to the cities looking for work. The poor suffer more acutely, but all strata of society are feeling the effects. Sheiks, diplomats, and even members of parliament who retreat to their farms after weeks in Baghdad. Along the river, rice and wheat fields have turned to baked dirt. Canals have dwindled to shallow streams, and fishing boats sit on dry land. Pumps meant to feed water treatment plants dangle pointlessly over brown puddles. The old men say it's the worst they can remember. A fisherman sitting in a riverside cafe full of his idle colleagues. I'm depending on God's blessings. The drought is widespread in Iraq. The area sown with wheat and barley in the rain-fed north is down roughly 95% from the usual, and the date palm and citrus orchards of the east are parched. For years, rainfall has been far below normal, leaving the reservoirs dry, and American officials predict that wheat and barley output will be a little over half of what it was some years ago. The drying up of the Euphrates River is a process. It is also a crisis that threatens the roots of Iraq's identity, not only as the land between two rivers, that was once the largest exporter of dates in the world, that once supplied German beer with barley, and that takes patriotic pride in its expensive Anbar rice. But now Iraq is importing more and more grain. Droughts are not rare in Iraq, though officials say they have been more frequent in recent years. But drought is only part of what is choking the Euphrates and its larger, healthier twin, the Tigris. The most frequently cited culprits are the Turkish and Syrian governments, and perhaps even ISIS. Iraq has plenty of water, but it is a downstream country. There are at least 7 dams on the Euphrates in Turkey and Syria, according to Iraqi water officials, and with no treaties or agreements. The Iraqi government is reduced to begging its neighbors for water. We have a real thirst in Iraq, said the Minister of Planning. Our agriculture is going to die. Our cities are going to wilt, and no state can keep quiet in such a situation. With the Euphrates showing few signs of increasing health, bitterness over Iraq's water threatens to be a source of tension for months or even years to come between Iraq and its neighbors. Many say the real problem lies in Iraq's own bad management water policies. Along the river, there is no shortage of resentment at the Turks and Syrians. Officials say nothing will improve if Iraq does not seriously address its own water policies and its history of flawed water management. Leaky canals and wasteful irrigation practices squander the water, and poor drainage leaves fields so salty from evaporated water that women and children dredge huge white mounds from sitting pools of runoff. So again, the Euphrates River is still drying up, and it is a process. Yes, it's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. Revelation chapter 16, verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch humans with fire. 9. And humans were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which has power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. 10. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom or nation was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. 11. And blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings and leaders of the east might be prepared. Again, it's time for the physical and spiritual manifestation of the book of Revelation, and all these are more signs.